your host, Jaime Soretta. On this podcast, we celebrate everything local in Arizona. And may I tell you, one of my favorite ways to explore Old Town Scottsdale is by golf cart. And these next folks will set up a wonderful tour. You do not have to be a tourist to enjoy a tour in our home town. So I'd like to introduce you to Kirk and Monica Nicodemus. They are of JoyridesAZ. Hello, you two.
Hi, Jamie. How are you?
You know, I always talk a lot about wind therapy. You know the thing, the breeze in your hair. You're rolling down Scottsdale Road. Monica or Captain Kirk over here is telling you something cool about history you didn't know about that you've been driving down, in fact, driving by every single day. And that's one of the special things about your tours. Explain to the people what it is you do.
Well, we share our city. Not only do we offer tours in Old Town Scottsdale, we live in Old Town Scottsdale. It's really exciting when we have people that say, I'm a local, and they get on our cart and they're like, I didn't know this was here. I didn't know this was here. So not only do we get a great influx of tourists, because everyone wants to come to Scottsdale, but it's really nice to be able to share it with our locals to explore their own city.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Well, when we went, we had a little pack of my girlfriends, and we just had a ball. I think we gave Monica a couple of extra gray hairs. She laughed, but she might have gone away.
We can't talk about that. But
it's funny what you can discuss on a pod
That's
that you
right.
can't discuss on TV. But yeah, we had such a great time. So explain to people, because half your fleet is electric, and they're kind of extended. They're bigger golf carts. Are they golf carts?
Yes, they're low-speed vehicles, and the reason why we went with that type of vehicle is because, like Kirk said, we live here in town. We live in Scottsdale. It's such a beautiful city, and we wanted to do our part to keep the city beautiful. So why not go green, right? And we've had the green golf cart since 2021, and we've impacted our carbon footprint by at least 85-90%, which we're really proud of.
now, we do still have some gas vehicles in our fleet. Our normal group for one cart is 6 to 7 people.
Okay.
But we can accommodate. We have a group of 30 on Monday doing a tour. So we never say no.
Yeah.
We always say, let us figure it out. So we do have availability to do large groups, but we like the intimate as well, which is kind of cool that you don't have to walk, especially in our heated weather that we've had as of recent.
And for some reason, there's just such joy when you're kind of
Hence
rolling
Joy
down.
Rides.
Yes, did you guys do this on purpose? But it really is just so fun. And tell me about what a standard tour would look like. How long would that be, and where would we visit?
So we have a different variety of tours. Some are as short as 1 hour. Our city tour, our gelato tour, our Instagram mural tour are all about an hour. But then we have some elevated experience, sip and shop tour.
No.
Where you shop, sip, if you get my drift.
A little wine
and
tasting.
a little wine tasting and a little bit more shopping. It's very, very fun. All of our tours are private. We have a wine tasting tour, 3 hours, and we have our most popular, which is our margarita taco tour, where you go to 3 different locations. You get a full-size taco, chips, salsa, and a full-size margarita.
Ooh.
Yeah, and not only do you just go to 3 different locations, we tour the city in between. And almost all of the feedback we've gotten in the 10 years we've been doing it is like, we just thought we were going to 3 places to eat. We didn't know we were getting a tour. So it's kind of neat to be able to share our city, give them experience about what we do, what we think is unique about Scottsdale, all within an hour or 3 hours.
Yeah.
All of our tours, rather it's the gelato, the Instagram mural, they all include a tour of the city as well.
And I think what's great about our vehicles is we're able to take the folks through maybe 5-6 different districts and really show them the area. Yes, historical Old Town is cool. It's historic. But we have so many other beautiful districts. We have the art district, we have the garden district, shopping district, restaurant area, entertainment districts. So if you're going to take a tour, why not see those areas while you're here, so you can pick and choose where you want to spend the next couple of hours.
So why do I not know what the garden district is?
Well,
I'm a local.
You are a
Shouldn't
local.
I know
so
this?
it's called the Garden Apartment District. The Garden Apartment District was completed in the late 1950s. The same developer that developed that was the same developer of West Hollywood.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the Hotel Valley Ho?
Oh, I love the
So
Valley Ho. Come
Hotel
on.
Valley Ho, mid-century modern, right?
Yes, yes.
Mid-century modern, not a Frank Lloyd Wright design, but
Yeah.
definitely
Beautiful.
influence.
Yeah.
The same as the Garden Apartment District, which is a low line. The zoning back in the day is you could be no taller than 2 stories tall. You could not be intrusive of your neighbor, and you could not block the view of Camelback Mountain.
Amen.
So, right? So it's beautiful. I mean, that's what we wake up to.
So is it called the Garden Apartments? Is it
Apartment
written kind of in
District.
cursive on the building?
Yes.
Where is it?
So do you know where the Valley Ho is? So that street is 69th, I believe. If you drive south and cross over 2nd Street, they have like the Lounge, Americana, Fountain Blue, Deo. They have all these really cool, and indicative is the open air block. So you have square ones, round ones, triangle ones. It's just a small little pocket. So
apartment buildings.
Of apartment
Okay,
buildings,
yeah.
which
So
are apartments and condos now.
And my favorite is the one that has the door that looks like a Hershey's chocolate bar.
Oh,
Yeah,
Sounds
that's my
delicious.
favorite. You might like it too. Yeah, just really
my
cool
goodness.
It's really
architecture
cool.
detail back there. Yeah.
I always think of those little places behind the Valley Ho as very Marilyn Monroe bungalows.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Desi Arnaz,
Absolutely.
Lucille Ball.
Yes.
Yes,
I always say,
yes.
imagine, they knew about indoor, outdoor, or outdoor, indoor living well before anybody else, because there's their lanai and there's the pool.
Yep.
Right? Lucille Ball, big towel on her head, maybe a long cigarette. Ricky saying, you got some splaining to do. Right there, right?
Yeah.
Old Vegas, Old Palm Springs. It's very, very.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Very
So we
cool.
can learn about the architecture.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We have beautiful architecture. We have close to 100 pieces of public art, 100 pieces of private art throughout our little journey that we go. And it's very beautiful. It doesn't get vandalized.
Yeah, we're so
We have the
lucky.
largest outdoor gallery of art in the whole United States.
I'm thinking about One-Eyed Jack and those saguaros that are kind of by Frank and Lupe by Coach House. Aren't there some metal?
Oh, no,
that's
the
horseshoes.
horseshoe waterfall.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yes, that's over 1,000 horseshoes. I think 1,023.
Yeah.
They're made out of horseshoes?
Yep,
Yeah.
they're just
Yeah, the
horseshoes
pillars
stacked
are
on top
horseshoes.
of
Okay,
there.
pillars.
The cement is in a horseshoe shape, and there's even horseshoes that lead up to it. When it's working,
Yes.
the mist will come out the front of the horseshoe. So
Yeah.
pretty cool to see.
It's
Yeah.
our only equestrian piece of art without a horse.
Oh,
Yeah.
You get the horseshoes, but no horse.
Right.
because you think of
Yeah,
that incredible, iconic.
The one-
Was it Bob Parks?
Yes,
Yeah,
horseshoe
the
falls.
horseshoe. No,
Or-
no,
no.
the Arabian horse fountain.
Yes,
Yes,
right
it's
in
the
the
bronze
middle.
horse fountain.
Fifth
yeah.
Ave. Fifth
Yes,
Ave.
Beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Love
Second most photographed item in
that. Scottsdale.
Scottsdale.
Is that?
Yeah, and that is that piece of art.
Number one in Scottsdale. Is it a piece of art?
Yeah.
Number one in Scottsdale. What would it be? What's the number one?
No, I don't know what number one
Oh,
is.
we don't. We
we
just
don't
know that guy's
know.
number
Yeah,
two,
We
huh?
know it's number two,
I
but
thought I was getting
I
a
thought we had
quiz.
something good for you.
I would say it would be the cowboy, the welcome.
Yeah, probably the
cowboy
Welcome
on
Cowboy on Scottsdale
and
Oh,
Road.
Maine.
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes,
Which
yes.
is
Just because
also
it
a
has
piece of art.
Scottsdale
Yeah.
on there, and he's a cowboy. He's
Yeah.
been there since the 1950s. So,
Oh, yeah.
so
Yep.
cool.
Scottsdale Public Art has over 100 pieces of art on display outside in Scottsdale. They have over 300 pieces within their buildings and a collection of 1,200 pieces of public art.
Wow.
It's amazing.
We're spoiled.
We're spoiled.
Yeah.
I mean, we go to other cities and they're wonderful, but they're not Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to one of those timeshare presentations?
Oh,
So
yes, I
Yeah,
have.
well, so
it was a
just-
terrible
so let me
experience.
tell you, Monica and I went, and the guy says, "Monica, anywhere in the world that you would go, where would you go?" And she kept pushing at Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Kept pushing at Scottsdale. He goes, "No, anywhere." She kept touching Scottsdale. He goes, "You're not buying, are you?" No, we're not buying. So, but we sometimes tend to forget what a beautiful city we live in. You know, Phoenix is great, Glendale's great, Gilbert is great. I mean, all of those cities are great, but the community of Scottsdale is pretty spectacular.
I think we have so much in such a small, condensed area.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like we're spoiled, because we can go to a high-end restaurant. We can go to a rooftop bar. We can go to a gallery that I'm not supposed to touch things because it makes them nervous.
Oh, yes.
So, and then you have all our wonderful locals. I mean, I think Old Town, historic Old Town, I would say 85-90% of them are the owners. the
Micro
owners'
businesses,
kids. Yeah,
less
they're
than 10
micro
employees.
businesses. So it's either their family members that are
Yeah.
working there. They're friends, but pretty cool to have that still in that area.
And Old Town Scottsdale itself has close to 100 bars and restaurants, and less than 5% are chain accounts.
Wow.
So local, right?
That's
We love
amazing.
local.
Yes, we do. Yes, in fact, we should do something about that. Oh, look at that.
There we go.
Well, it is. You guys must be constantly learning, because as much as our city is growing, it's always changing, and you see businesses come in and out of Old Town Scottsdale. You may think you have something lined up, and then that
Right.
business changes.
Sure.
So how? I was first of all going to ask, do you guys have a background in art? How are you learning so much about not only the art but the businesses?
So we're very blessed. We're very involved with Experience Scottsdale, our visitors bureau.
Local First
Arizona.
Arizona Office of Tourism.
What is it? The art, Scottsdale
Performing
Arts,
Arts.
Performing Arts. We're very involved, and we go to a lot of different, meet and greets. We also go door to door with all the merchants.
Meet them.
We've met them, and they're either they get it, they understand. Without them, there's no us. And without us, there's no them. I'm being a little bit, high on our.
Oh, you work
hog.
together.
We
Yes,
work together,
yeah.
right?
We have a lot of partnerships.
We have over 35 partners that we give them a shout out. We have food there. We have drinks there. We buy candy there. Monica bought sandals the other day out there.
Yes.
Really cute.
There's
Where did you buy sandals?
Bishop.
Bishop
Oh, yeah.
Shades of the West. Yeah. So
Shout out to Bishop's.
yeah, and the cool thing is like Mexican imports, they've been there since 1929.
Wow.
Same owners, same
Isn't that
ownership,
crazy?
right?
Wow.
So Monica and I are blessed enough that we've become good enough friends with these people that we go out to dinner with them, and they tell us these wonderful stories of when Scottsdale ended at Camelback Road and everything was farm field. We go to the old Adobe Mission. They have photos from 1935 and 1949 where you look and you can see the old Adobe Mission and farmland for as far as the eye can see. So we're blessed enough that we get to talk to these people and they tell us stories. If they're truthful or not, we're not 100% sure.
this
but
is
nobody
what I was
else
told.
knows,
Yeah,
right?
that's
This
what
is
they
what I was
remember.
told.
Yes,
you know?
yes,
That's what
yeah,
Dad
right.
told me.
The Rodeo Museum, Dave Alfred, he's lived and breathed in Scottsdale for 71 years.
And rodeo life.
Rodeo
too.
life,
Yeah,
right?
Dave.
And so
Yeah, shout out to Dave. Hi,
he's-
Dave.
you know Dave,
Yeah.
right? And so if you go into his museum that he has there, he tells us stories that are just amazing. The way that why people
canal.
migrated here, about the canal,
His
and
family.
the Hispanic families that came and settled here. He's a wealth of knowledge, and he's a little bit of a kick in the pants as well. If you've ever met
fun.
him.
It's a lot of fun.
But we go there. We go and talk to Rad, the docent at Old Adobe Mission, one of two active missions.
So when
in
you say Old
Arizona.
Adobe Mission, are you talking about that building that's right next to the Mission restaurant?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
because can you go in there?
Yes, it's
Yes, it's
open.
free.
Open 7 days a week. It's
I've looked
free.
in the window.
I don't know their hours, but
Yeah.
if you ever are down there, maybe visiting the farmers market,
Yeah.
go across the street.
really
It doesn't
pretty.
cost a darn thing. And the history, the majority of the people that are still there, that are third, fourth generation,
Wow.
are Hispanic. They made it their home. The people that first migrated here came for opportunity and money, but the Hispanic people that came made it their home, right? And so that's very, very high Hispanic population in Scottsdale, and a lot of people don't know that.
He has a lot of great history and photographs
Yeah.
inside the mission.
Yeah, he
It's
is
really
in the
neat.
mission as well. The founding families, the Corral family, the Cavalier family, all of those families. And he has photographs from the early days, which is cool.
I did a local love with Los Olivos.
Oh,
That
yeah,
one.
yeah. Hector and
That
Maria.
building-
And, yeah.
That building is
Isn't it
incredible.
cool?
And then they've all the pictures. She's like, this was all barrios, Jamie.
Yeah,
like,
well,
this was
that's
all.
what they don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the parking garage back behind was the barrio.
Yeah.
When they put that parking garage in, they wanted Los Olivos to go as well. And Los Olivos said no. And there was
Didn't
a
someone
gentleman-
help?
Yes.
Well, so we sent,
I interrupted too soon.
Senator Barry Goldwater helped them and said, leave them alone. It's our favorite Mexican food restaurant. And the building to the back of it, as you probably know, they had like Ricky Ricardo style music. So people like Ava Gardner, Rock Hudson, Steven Spielberg all used to wait outside for hours to get in. And so although Arizona's not that old, we have a lot of great, rich history.
Yeah.
You know,
They were clubbing back in the day in that back room.
What was the escape from Hollywood?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
You know, it
Yep.
was all that
Yeah.
those Hollywood talent. They came out here to retreat.
Well,
Yep.
you even think about it. Our population of Scottsdale in 1970 was only 70,000 people. Phoenix was only 170,000 people. So we were the Great West, right?
Yeah.
People came here to escape the rest.
And as we talk about people coming here to escape, didn't you guys do that?
We did.
How did you
We
end
did.
up here? How long you been here?
So-
what were you running from in Oregon?
You know, Oregon's a beautiful state.
Yeah.
I lived there my whole life. Monica's originally from Southern California, but once we got married, I talked her into coming to Oregon to
Wait,
raise
how
our
did you
children.
guys meet?
At a luau in Hawaii.
In Hawaii?
Yep.
Over a pineapple.
Over a pineapple. They say, "Hey, all you people, how many steal the pineapple?" Her, woo, me, woo. So we met over stealing a pineapple, but we didn't steal it. It was for us to take.
Yes. So like,
We're
it's a
law-abiding
gift.
citizens.
This is a gift.
It was a gift.
You
We
little
didn't
crook.
really steal it. But in, I want to say 2009, we bought 2 properties down here.
But we would come here because my parents lived here.
Yes,
So we would visit often.
We used to come in the late 80s, early 90s and visit her parents.
Yeah.
And we loved it. And we knew eventually we would retire
Yeah.
here. We're not retired. We still work. But what we found in the recession of 2009, we purchased 2 condominiums. And our son came down here and did his internship for Oregon State University. And he lived in one of them. And our daughter came down here to go to college. And she lived in the other one.
Now
and
you
we said,
still have no place to live.
and we said, wait a minute, they're living our retirement dream.
Not okay.
What happened here? Good plan, Mom and Dad. We liked your plan.
Also, Oregon gets over 300 days of rain. Arizona gets over 300 days of sunshine. Rain, green, brown, but, and we just said enough is enough. And we came down here, and Scottsdale's beautiful. I mean, if you're going to, eventually retire somewhere, Scottsdale's a pretty good place to be.
And can be very walkable.
Very
Yes.
walkable.
In older years.
Unless you're
Yes.
taking a tour with us, and then it's
You
not
just
very
hop
walkable.
on. Yeah, you just hop on.
That's right.
And we have Sedona. Sedona's what, an hour?
Hour and a half.
if
yeah.
that.
San Diego's 6 hours if
Yeah.
you want to do a weekend trip.
So where in Southern California did you grow up?
And Glendora, Azusa area, San Bernardino area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you get back to the beach often?
As often as he'll take me.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
So,
Just went to San Diego.
yeah,
Yes.
we're going a lot more often.
Good.
So, yeah.
So let's talk about what you guys were doing before Career Rise, before you got into what you do now.
So when we were in Oregon, I worked for the school district. I was a youth transition specialist, which helped kids that were considered couch surfers to go to college, find jobs, or go into training. I also worked at Silverton Hospital as an administrative assistant for safety and engineering. But once we moved here, I worked for Goodwill and I was a career specialist. So I would help people find work.
So you help people transition from here to there.
Yes.
So you can help the tourists find their spot. that they love so much.
Exactly.
Or the local find their spot
Yep.
that they'll love again.
Now me,
Yes, you.
I worked for a beer and wine distributor for 25
Oh,
years.
really?
So
In Oregon.
that works out for the taco
Transitioned
margarita
well.
tour
Yeah.
and the wine
You
tasting
got some
tour.
experience,
So I have
yeah.
enough knowledge to be dangerous.
Yeah.
I worked there for 25 years. Last job there was the state of Oregon. I
Mm-hmm.
worked for the lottery.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty cool job. Migrated here, worked for the small little company called Costco for a little
No,
bit.
I've heard of them.
Um,
I think I have a card.
yeah, you maybe, yeah, executive.
Yeah.
Then my final tenure here, I worked for a beer distributor in Casa Grande, Casa Grande as some
Yeah.
people call it. And I was driving an hour. Monica was, we were of an age that we just really wanted to decide what we wanted to do for the rest of our career. And we happened to be at a local establishment having beverages.
No,
And
best ideas on a beer napkin.
yeah, exactly.
Where were you?
We're at Local Patron
on Scottsdale Road.
on Scottsdale Road.
Yes.
And we were sitting there and we saw all these little golf carts buzzing around. But what we noticed is they were not interacting with their guests. Maybe their music on, maybe whatever. But they would just say, "Where do you want to go?" And they would get on. And it's like, Monica says, "That looks like fun. We could do it, but we could do it better." because as you can tell, I like to talk, and Monica likes to talk as well. Not as much as I do, but she likes to talk as well. But what we felt is we're not trying to reinvent the wheel, but maybe we could make the wheel a little better. Mm-hmm. And so Monica left her employment, and we bought one golf cart. And I would call from my work and say, hey, how's your day going? Oh, my gosh, I met these nicest people. And what'd you do? Oh, this one to drive around, which invented our Joyride, which was our 30-minute tour. Mm-hmm. And then one day, Monica was having such a good time, and I not so much at my job. And she said, come home. And I did. Mm-hmm. And I came home. And so she drove during the day. I drove at night. And then at our high point, we had 5 carts, 8 part-time employees. The part that we really enjoyed about our newfound career is having to manage people.
I knew that was
right?
coming.
Yeah, having to manage people.
Yeah.
So, and we also believe that those people that work for us wouldn't show the same local love as
passion.
we do. The passion, right?
Yeah.
We're really passionate about what we show people. It's not scripted.
Yeah.
We just go off the hip by
You're not doing corporate. There's no, you guys are corporate. You guys really get that deep.
I mean, she's corporate.
Yeah.
You know? Monica, what do you think? Don't do it, Kirk.
Don't say that.
Don't say that, Kirk. You really shouldn't say that. Don't tell Jamie this.
Are you really saying that to people?
Saying that? But it is the thing where if you're passionate about what you do, I mean, just like you, Jamie, and what you do, you're passionate about it. So if you just got on there and just like, and that's the news. I mean, I'm not going to say it's boring, but I don't think people believe it. I think people will say to me, Kirk, how long have you been doing this? Well, this is my second day. How do you think I've done? But we read, we interact, we talk to different merchants, and we enjoy what we do. And I mean, every time I see something on, your guys' channel or anything, it's like, Monica, here's I send her the feed. It's like, you got to read this. You got to read this. There was an article the other day of the 25 top bars and lounges that used to be, that still are, that are no longer. Have you seen that article?
I think, is it New Times? Phoenix News Times? I think,
exactly.
They're talking about Mist.
I mean, but you think about those, like you would know, Brown Derby and Dos Amigos and Los Dos Amigos and, so all of that stuff is like, yep, we remember that.
Yeah.
Yep, we remember that. And not to say that the new stuff isn't cool, but when you share that history and when you get the locals, they're like, oh, that used to be Firehouse. It's like, well, it was Firehouse and then it was this and now it's, Social Tap, whatever it happens to be. But you're right. And when we're out on that route, we're like, well, I'll text Monica or I'll call Monica or we get home at the end of the day. Hey, did you see that that's not there anymore? You're kidding. It's not there anymore.
Yeah.
So it's ever changing, but Scottsdale gets 10.4 million visitors a year. And on that, Scottsdale proper has a population of 266,000 people. Then you throw in, Glendale, and you throw in Ahwatukee, and you throw in all these different areas of the metro area. There's a lot of local people that could enjoy this as well. And during the pandemic, we really, really, really relied on the local people, and they came through, which was really cool.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
And you think of, of course, when I think of Old Town Scottsdale and who might be visiting, enjoying, I think of the bachelorette parties.
Absolutely.
But my sister took one of your tours
She did.
recently with her family. So what kind of things did you present? Because I guess the kids are they're teenagers and, hard to satisfy a teenager without a screen.
Right.
So but they had a
did
blast.
great.
So where did you take
great.
them?
It was more of a custom tour.
Yeah. Well, we listen. So
Yeah.
we listen to our guests, and we also look at the age of how old they may happen to be, whatever happens to be. Someone's like, oh my gosh, did you see that X3 or did you see that
Cars,
Lamborghini?
yeah.
Well, we know to drive under the belly of the W because you know what? There's really cool cars
That's awesome.
there, right?
Oh my gosh, that's a great little something to see
yeah,
along the way to
right.
something else.
Or we'll hear, my daughter really loves horses. Oh my gosh, you do?
No way.
So we share the different horse fountains and so we always listen. You know, people are like, yeah, I don't want to go to some chain. Oh, really? Well, what kind of food do you like?
You're like, a chain wasn't on our list.
Exactly. But you know, we do listen.
Yes.
Everybody that gets on the tour, including your sister, you know, and we have communication before.
Yes, of course.
But then when we get there, we'll see it's like, oh, they got a 8 and a 10-year-old or whatever the age happens to be, but you know what? More than anything, the kids like riding on the cart.
It's so much fun.
Right? We play sweet and sour. Have you ever played sweet and
No.
sour? Okay, so sweet and sour, you honk and wave. If they wave back to you, they're sweet.
Oh.
If they don't, they're sour.
Oh.
So we play sweet and sour. You know, we show them the giant bunny and we talk about the folklore. But we always try to engage not with the adults, but with the kids. Like we had mentioned before, not all of our tours have to involve alcohol.
Yeah.
We have a gelato tour. We have a holiday lights tour coming up.
Tell me about the holiday lights.
Yeah, so
Monica.
that's going to start at the end, right after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
You'll be able to start
But
booking.
you should book
yes,
after
the
You can
part,
start
the part
booking
that, you know,
now.
it's open.
It's open. You can
So
start
you can
booking
start
now.
booking now. So
Okay.
what it is, it's an hour tour, 6:15 and 7:30. We go through Old Town, look at all the lights. We're able to stop if you want to get off and take pictures. But it's so beautiful. It's part of Scott's Dazzle, which the city will transform into a dazzling holiday city with all the beautiful lights.
What do they do during Scottsdale? Because don't they not only have so many lights, but activities too?
Yes, right on
absolutely.
the waterfront.
On the canal, yeah. So
on
they
the bridge.
they will have different
parties,
different choral
events,
groups will come out and sing.
music.
They have a sing along for the tree lighting. I know they have a tea party along the canal. I think they might have a run. But I believe that activates the 29th, the day after Thanksgiving.
You won't believe who's lighting the tree.
You?
Oh, you are? Congratulations. That is so awesome.
cry.
I'll tell you, it's exciting because they went back to the traditional tree instead
Yes.
of the
Metal.
tree.
Yeah.
So very
Okay.
exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
See, now we're in the
That's
know.
Wow,
Yes.
we know a tree
We know a
lighter.
tree lighter.
It's my first tree to light.
Oh, how wonderful.
And yeah, that was pretty special when I got that text message
Yeah.
requesting my present there.
It's very well received.
like,
Expect a lot of people to be there.
Thank
It's
you.
Yeah.
it's very well received.
Yeah, well,
Such
I'm just
a
trying to
beautiful
wonder if I
area.
hop on one of these carts
I'm
after.
There you
thinking
go.
so,
There
yeah.
you
Now the wheels are
go.
turning.
I know you got Monica's number.
I do,
You can
I do,
text her.
I do. So we referenced many times this heat. 10 years with your business, how have you handled it? Has the heat in the summer been one of your biggest challenges?
It has been. We've been tending to do, the ones that we can early morning, 8 o'clock, 9:30. People say, I want to do 2:30. It's going to be hot. And they're like, I know, we love the heat. And it's like, but it's going to be
No.
hot. So we tend to try to do morning tours. We provide water, and like the Taco Margarita tour, for example, you're only on the cart for a short, brief moment in time in between stops. So, you're on the cart for 10 minutes, you're in the air conditioning. You're on the cart for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, you're in the air conditioning. And we can always gauge if they're really getting pink and overheated. We know that.
Yeah, we need to
All right,
move 'em.
guys, you want to kind of wrap it up?
Yeah.
But as long as they've gotten their food and stuff like that. But more than anything, this year we did kind of do limited hours. First time in 10 years that we still did tours, but it wasn't as broad-based. We didn't close by any means, but we just said the heat isn't good for us. The heat isn't good for our customers. But we still wanted to support our restaurants, and our restaurants may not want us in March, but guess what? They definitely want us in July and
sure do,
August,
don't they?
right?
Isn't that wild? I
Yeah.
mean, when I grew up here, it's so funny because you're like, I'm a local, but you were also 10 years old.
Yeah.
You don't realize what a seasonal city you
Sure,
live in, and how
exactly.
the population fluctuates,
Yeah.
and how that means so much to that local business owner who owns
Right.
the restaurant. Is like, please, please, please come see me in
Yeah,
August.
yeah.
But I'm booked up in March. I'd love to help you.
Yeah,
I'll
well,
slide you a
and-
couple tacos at the back. But
well,
It's funny you mention that too, because one year we told our Taco Margarita folks, we're going to not offer that during baseball training because we know you guys are so busy. And they were so sweet. They said, no, we want you year round. We don't just want you during season. We want you year round, which I thought that was really nice that they were even willing to give up a big table for our large groups. And
but that's also accounted on table.
Absolutely.
They know that money's coming in.
Right. And they know we're coming in, we're going to be on time, we're going to do our allotted amount of time, and then we're going to move out.
Right.
But a lot of really great business owners, again, in Scottsdale. We're very lucky.
Yeah. So local Patron, is that where this business happened?
Yes,
local
yes,
Patron?
that's where we were.
Are they on your tour?
They aren't because of parking.
Oh,
Terrible parking.
Oh, darn it.
But they could be. But we've also used Los Olivos. We've used Daily Dose. We've used Bell's Nashville Kitchen, Frank and Lupe's.
Yeah.
We have a core 3 that we like to go to because we get great reviews of the food, and customer service is huge. If we walk in and there's you're who and you do what, it's progressive, right?
Yeah.
We need to keep the ball
going.
rolling. Not going to lie, one of our restaurants, the restaurant can be completely full and they're all ordering burgers and whatever they're ordering, and they see us come in and we go to the front of the line. Because, we're on a time frame, and they know that we're going to turn the table. We're not going to sit around and drink water for 3 hours. So they get it, right? Yeah. Some of the other customers aren't super happy about it.
Yeah, well, they should book a Joyrides.
But they all, exactly. But they also don't know that we had ordered ahead and we're ready to go.
I think they would figure it out.
Yeah,
they're rational people, but
Or they take a tour with us, like you said.
Yes,
I like that, Jamie.
Yeah.
I love it when they ask. They were saying, "What are you doing? What are you guys doing? Where are you going next?" And that's when you hand them a little brochure.
Yeah. Because, I always get so upset when I see people enjoying my city when I'm doing my menial tasks. And I think I popped in on you guys once you were at a wine place, right?
Yeah, you
I was, getting my nails filled.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
Carlson
Jamie.
Creek, I remember that. It's like, oh, here comes Jamie.
It's like maintenance to me. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Oh, where's the group? What are they doing? Why are they here? Where are they from?
But Jamie, we get that all the time.
Really?
We'll be... I'll get a text from, for example, Gray at Porter's.
Shout out to Gray.
Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing at Siena Agave?
Yeah, why aren't you over here?
What's your business? Yeah.
I get those too.
Yeah.
Do you guys get reported? Do you guys get reported? I have been reported. So someone will report that there has been a JB sighting at the bar across the street. Heaven forbid if I want a karaoke, Gray.
Right. That's hilarious.
We only get that from Gray. Or I'll look out the window. I'll look out the window, and there's Gray and one of his counterparts sitting on the cart, acting like they're driving it. It's like, okay, get out. Gray, get out there.
But isn't it fun?
It is fun.
It's fun to have these other business owners that you love and you interact with.
We know more people in Old Town Scottsdale than we do in our own neighborhood.
Yeah.
But I feel like it is our neighborhood because we spend so much time there.
But we feel it's important to support them. For the most part, they support us.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you that we probably know the owner's name, probably 3 or 4 of the servers' names at every single location down there. And what does it hurt, right? I mean, should be more front porches and not as many backyards. And I truthfully believe that, and that's our front yard. That's our front porch is Old Town Scottsdale. So
well, I always think you guys, with a smile on your face, waving, and you always look happy when you're working. It seems like you're having a ball.
It's not a job; it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And look at our office.
Yeah,
we're just looking around. Yeah. We're in Old Town now. We're by the galleries. Now we're in the Garden District.
So, what's one of your favorite things to show off?
The art. I'm an artist, so I love all the art. Yes,
Tell me.
So I paint. I have when pandemic hit, I started painting rocks and putting them in pots. So they were saguaros, very low maintenance. And Kimberly from Mercantile was nice enough to allow me to put my art inside her shop. And so I sell rocks.
Oh, wow. Very cool. That's awesome.
So a lot of fun. I do a lot of different mediums, love a lot of different mediums. But we're so spoiled with all the art that we have in our city and the galleries.
So is there a specific art, sculpture or... That's
my favorite. It was the Diamond Bloom, but that got moved from the Museum of the West. It was behind the Museum of the West. But I think I like the horses. In Old Town. Yeah.
What
I
about
love
you?
those.
Favorite thing to show off?
Absolutely, the bars and restaurants.
Do you
I
say
like
that's
to eat.
fine. That's
I
cool.
like to eat.
So
I
where's
like
your
to
favorite
drink.
taco in town?
My favorite taco. No, if you're listening,
Yes.
restaurants.
You love them all.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
a very tough choice. I'm putting them on the spot.
I love Diego Pops.
Yes.
Diego Pops. They're just so funky. I love the pickled onions. But all of the places we go to, they're amazing.
Yeah.
People say, well, how do you choose? Well, was your taco good? Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Well, I did at Social Tap, they have a short rib, braised
That's my
short rib
favorite.
taco.
Oh.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Siena Agave, they have a chicken tinga taco.
Royal Norman loves Siena Agave.
yeah.
I'm telling you. So, I mean, all of them, you can't go wrong at Los Olivos.
Yeah.
Daily
Best
Dose.
tostada in town, I think, at
I'm,
Los
I'm
Olivos.
telling you, people like what do you call them? Cheese crisps? Or
Yeah.
people, they will go back to New York for a while, or they'll go, and the second they get back, they go there to get those cheese crisps.
And then that was like, I don't know, that was like my first meal I ever made for myself. Like, Mommy, how do I do that? I put cheese on the tortilla and throw it in the microwave for 30 seconds. It's delicious.
I know. And because of my beer industry, Craft 64, they make some wonderful beers, Goldwater Brewing. So, the beer, because the beer side is so instilled in me. I worked in Portland, Oregon at one point in time, and they had a bakery over here and Blitz Brewing over here, and they were brewing and they were making. And I just sat in the parking lot.
Doughy
And
yeast.
Oh yeah, and people are like, you're strange. It's like, but until you live that life, you don't know, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a lot of, as you can tell, I like to eat. So my favorite thing to show people is the local restaurants, the local brew pubs. People always say, where would you go? Well, let's narrow the list down a little bit.
And your list is very long. I
It
imagine.
is
Places
very
you
long.
would go.
We
But
do.
on this day, I choose this.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So fun. For folks who are looking at you and they say, how do I do something like this in my city or create something similar? What kind of advice would you give people about maybe a mistake you wish you hadn't made or something that you learned out on red tape or just city code, stuff that you were not expecting?
Yeah, Monica and I learned the hard way of how to do it just for the simple fact that, oh, you need this permit. Oh, you need that permit.
Yeah.
Oh, you need this license. Get involved with your city. Go in and ask. What this is what I'm thinking of doing. This is what I'd like to do. The other thing is if you have an idea, let's say it's candy, right? And they have a gelato place and they have a candy place and they have whatever it happens to be, right? Crepes. You're doing a sweet treat, tour. If you're passionate about it and you learn enough about it, you can create a tour. You really can, but don't think it's just going to happen overnight between social media, getting your name out there. If you just think you're going to sit at home and wait for somebody to book you, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So how do you guys get your names out there?
Jamie's Local Love.
Yep. Social media.
Social media. Monica's very involved with like Arizona Local First. And we're in contact with the Arizona Tourism, and anytime the concierge, and anytime that we feel, I would say the biggest thing that hurts our heart is when we have locals and they're like, "Well, I haven't ever heard of you." It's like, I don't know. We've been doing this for 10 years.
That's what I say to people when they say, I haven't heard of Local Love. I've been doing this for almost 10 years.
Right.
Do you watch the local
mean,
news? Sometimes
yeah.
you say, do you watch the local news? No, it's too. I'm like, well, Good Morning Arizona presents a lot of opportunity for other content. We have to inform you on what's going on. We got to.
Right.
Because some people forget to plug into their community by using your local resources.
Right. And I do believe, we kind of briefly talked about, Glendale. They have Glendale Glitter, right? I don't even live in Glendale, and I know about Glendale Glitter. And the other day they had some teddy bear event that you guys covered,
really
right?
cool.
Yep.
But that downtown core area is so cool. I tell people all the time, we're blessed enough to get as many visitors in Scottsdale as we do. Other cities that are boarded up could do the same exact thing. They could if they had that same, You see something like Jerome, for example. We just visited Bisbee.
Yeah.
Guess what we did in Bisbee? We took a golf cart tour.
Of course you did.
Well,
How
that's
would you
amazing.
not?
Cool.
This is research right off the trip.
Yeah. Have you ever taken that tour?
I
in
have
Bisbee?
been to Jerome, but I have not done the golf. I've
No,
only
in
done
Bisbee,
your.
in Bisbee.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bisbee, I have
Bisbee.
not done the golf cart.
Oh,
tour.
you got to do
No.
it.
Yeah.
It is so
Very informative. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we saw Channel 3 there.
Yes.
Oh, really? Oh.
We did. They were talking about the building that had burned down.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't remember her name,
Yeah,
but
it was Whitney Clark.
Whitney.
Yes, it was
Whitney.
Whitney.
It was Whitney. But very, very cool that you get. We take tours for a little bit different reason that
Yeah.
other people may,
Yeah.
because we want to hear their approach,
Right.
their middle, their final. But we've been to Daytona. We took a boat tour of
Fun.
the inlands.
Yeah.
But you like to hear. We just recently. I don't know if you've done this. Saguaro Lake, the Desert Bell.
Yes.
Have you ever done that?
I can't remember if it was that one.
You need to do it again.
I think there are 2 ferries.
Well,
or
no,
two
there's
boats out
one.
Trying to think of
There's
which
one
one
at
I was at.
Canyon Lake, which is Dolly, and then there's one at Saguaro Lake, which is only a half an hour from here. But we took that Desert Bell, and I'm telling you what, the presentation and learning things about Arizona. That We've lived here for 13 years.
That's
we
what
never
I love
knew.
about it. Isn't it so
We
fun
never
to
knew.
hear?
I mean, we saw bald eagles and we saw
It's so
wild
pretty.
horses.
So pretty there.
But more than anything, we went on the tour because we like to hear other people's
tour.
approaches,
Yeah.
right? But Arizona's a beautiful state, and people need to explore it. They need to come to Scottsdale first.
And
but
they
then,
need to explore their neighborhood like they would
they
a
do.
tourist.
They
Right,
do.
Because
exactly.
usually you go to work, you go home, and you don't
Right.
stop to look around at the gems you're surrounded by.
Yes.
And it's just, well,
I have to tell my Evelyn
Here we
Okay,
go.
okay,
Here we
okay,
go.
I got one too.
Okay, so
I got one too.
All right, so I had a lady. Her name was Evelyn, and
Yes.
the reason I know that, she introduced herself. She was from New York, been here 27 years, and she says, "What do you do, Kirk?" I said, "I give tours." And she said, "What?" I says, "Of the city, of the Old Town area. I've lived here 27 years. You're not going to tell me anything I've never known before." I said, "Well, then, Evelyn, why are you talking to me?" And she says, "Well, I have family in town, and I really want to share my city."
Yeah.
I said, "Okay." I told her the amount. She goes, "Oh." I said, "Well, listen, I'll give you this. If I don't show you something you've never seen before, don't pay me." She says, "You're on. Get on, family." And so she sat right next to me. We're into the tour, 3 minutes. Oh my gosh, I never knew this was here.
Evelyn, you're
oh
paying
my
up.
Gosh.
Get the wallet.
So we get done with the tour, just a 1 hour city tour. We get done with the tour, and she comes up. She goes, "What are you doing tomorrow?" I said, "You want to take me to breakfast?" She says, "No." She says, "I have 2 more sets of family coming in, and are you available at 9 and 10? I said, "Absolutely." But Evelyn sat next to me on the next 2 tours, and she's, "Tell him this, tell him this." Yes, Evelyn, don't steal my thunder. I'll tell him. But it was really funny. Here's a lady that has lived here
20
for
years.
27 years, and she thought she knew her city. And I'm not going to say Monica and I know everything.
we don't know
We're always learning. We're always, oh my gosh, when did this pop
Yeah.
up? But it's pretty cool to think that here's people that live in Old Town. They've lived here since 1967, and they never knew that you could go into the old Adobe Mission, and
Yeah.
it's free, right?
I learned that today. Just as bad as that New Yorker, aren't I? Words I never thought I'd say. What's your story like that,
So
Monica?
my story is when we do get the locals and they start talking about, oh, we have family coming in, we have friends coming in. What I like to do is say, well, when you're tired of them, send them on a tour with us. We'll entertain them for a while.
Yeah.
Or prior to going to dinner or lunch,
Yeah.
come take a tour with us so you guys have even more to talk about.
Yeah, you and
where
your husband
live.
can sit in back where
Yeah.
you're just
Yeah,
watching, let everybody
absolutely.
else
Our biggest thing,
have some downtime.
our biggest thing is a lot of people take our tour on the first day, and then they get the lay of the land, right?
Brilliant.
The sad people are they had to check out of their hotel or Airbnb at 11. Their flight's not till 3. They're looking for a filler, and they take the tour, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we were here for 5 days, and we never knew this was here. We
Yeah.
never knew this was here." And we said, "Well, that's a great reason for you to come back, right?"
Yep.
So you have that the people that have really planned it out. They
Yeah.
want the lay of the land, and it's explained on our website very nicely.
Yeah.
And then you have the other group that's like, "Oh man,
Yep.
I didn't even know. I didn't know you guys had a waterfront."
Yeah.
You know,
So when you guys aren't working, what are you doing? What are you reading? What are you eating? What are you drinking? How are you loving Arizona? What do you love in Arizona?
Well, we've in Oregon, I could pretty much tell you where Silver Creek Falls is, Multnomah Falls, the ocean. We just started to explore, right? So we went to Pinetop Lakeside
Love it.
twice this year.
Where did you like up there?
You know, I like fishing. I love fishing. I ain't catching. I caught one fish, but I just like the fresh air.
Yeah.
A little cooler. It was nice,
Yeah.
you know, being
Yeah,
able
for
to
sure.
sleep with your window open.
It reminded me of Oregon.
Did it?
Being up
Yeah.
there, which I liked. I liked that, and the weather was cooler, and it smells like trees up there, which I really
Yeah.
enjoyed.
Jerome, Cottonwood, Flagstaff, went down to Bisbee and drove through Tombstone. So we're really trying to explore where
Arizona.
we live. Arizona.
Yeah.
We really are. You know, I'm looking at this photograph behind you into the saguaros. They only grow natively here, right? And
Isn't that wild?
we kind of take that for granted. The beauty. I tell people on the tours, like when I migrated here 13 years ago, I expected to see tumbleweed, scorpions, and rattlesnakes.
Have you seen any?
I've seen one scorpion.
No tumbleweeds?
Yeah,
saw one tumbleweed.
Maybe.
we'll get some tumbleweeds, but when you drive through, you see the bougainvillea and the lantera and the purple sage. You see all these
So
beautiful,
green.
beautiful colors. We went to Saguaro Lake last year, and they had the bloom. I don't even super bloom.
Yeah.
And they had these yellow and purple flowers. There was people out there laying in the desert taking photographs.
They probably
and-
had a drone up
oh,
ahead.
yeah, oh, yeah,
Overhead.
it was
so
the
pretty.
craziest thing. It's like,
Wow.
but the beauty that we have here, not just in Scottsdale, but the beauty of Arizona. I mean, we've not been to Yavapai Falls or any of that kind of stuff, but you know, the wild horses and the cardinals and it's cool. It's
cool.
really cool. You wouldn't think you would get that here.
Monica, what about you? Something you're loving here in town?
So what I
or
love,
around Arizona?
Yep. So like Kirk said, just exploring it. You know, we're here. We're in our little pocket that we stay in,
Yes.
and just to get out and start seeing where we live and how beautiful it is. And like you said, Pinetop was fun. We went to a ghost town over by.
Bisbee?
No, it was by
Jerome.
Nope.
Apache Junction? Is it the
Yes,
gold
it was
mine?
the one over by
Gold
Apache
mine?
Junction. Yes.
Goldfield.
Yeah, and that was
cool.
really cool, right?
And we went to
yeah.
we went to Tortilla Flats.
Yep, we went there.
Canyon
yep.
Lake. Just
Yes,
things
yes.
that we thought, let's just do that. It's a day trip.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. We went to Tortilla Flats and we had a wonderful pulled pork sandwich and no beer because I was driving on the curvy road.
Yeah.
But and you know the other thing is Arizona. So Oregon is very, very way before its time when it comes to coffee and micro beers.
Oh.
And it's really exciting to see that Arizona, you know, is, you know, Scottsdale Blonde and all these different things that are starting to come on. When we first started doing our tours, nothing against you, Starbucks. When we first started doing our tours in Old Town, people say, they come out and they say, hey, where can we get a cup of coffee? And we said, well, there's a Starbucks, right? No, we want a good cup of coffee.
Local.
Local.
And local,
That's what they're looking
right.
for.
Local is like, there's nothing here. Now you have Yellow Sprose Roasters, you have 4 Till 4, you have Press, Coffee Cartel, you have all these wonderful, I think Mercantile just opened up a coffee shop in their
Yeah,
place.
they're building it out.
Red Canyon Cafe, all these places, but they weren't here. They weren't here when we started 10 years ago. Those are Berdinas. Those are very, very new. So it's kind of neat to see, although behind the curve, Old Town's starting to evolve, right? You still have your old.
Yeah.
You know, you have one set of people that don't want anything to change. You have another set of people that want everything to change. And then you hope you have that happy medium,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know, because if I was just saying, here's another tall building, here's another tall building, we don't have a tour, right? So we have a lot of great, although our history isn't very old, we have a lot of great history in Old Town.
And you guys must be always learning. Must be interesting to
Yes,
always be
we
learning.
are, yes.
Always learning.
And we get the best information, like Kirk said, from our locals. You know,
of course.
they've lived here. They know the stories. But we're also very entwined with City of Scottsdale tourism. Experience
Bruce Wall.
Scottsdale, a visitor bureau, the Small Business Association. So we have those opportunities to learn what other businesses are doing, what the city's working on, so that we can share that with our folks when we're cruising around town.
Scottsdale has a historian by the name of Bruce Wall. I don't know.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. He has a good podcast as well if you ever want to check it out. But Monica and I were very interested in some of the history of the first murder in Scottsdale, Popcorn John, all these different information. And we went and met with Bruce Wall. And Bruce I thought I knew a lot of information.
Yeah,
Bruce is like an encyclopedia.
Wow.
This guy. And so then one day I get a text, hey, I and my family would like to take one of your tours. You want to talk about pressure?
It was Bruce?
Yes, it was Bruce and his
It's
family.
like, oh my gosh, I'm going to sit on the back of the cart and just pretend I'm not here, Kirk.
Oh my gosh.
And he gave me a little bit of critique and some of that kind of stuff, which was cool. But I love history.
Yeah.
I love the history of Scottsdale. When we're not out on the cart, we're reading, we're watching, videos, we're listening to podcasts about how the West was won, and so. In our downtime, we're living it. You know, I talked to Dave from the Rodeo Museum, and he tells me these wonderful stories. I talked to the Song family from Mexican Imports. They tell me these wonderful stories. The problem is that Monica and I don't share these stories with people. The story's going to go away. Because, like Dave said, I can tell my kids this story, and they're like, Dad's telling another story. But when he tells me, it excites me, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that. And then we share it with our guests. We share it with our locals. Sometimes the locals want to argue with us. No, that was in 1962, not 1970. Okay, somewhere in the 1960s. We can agree on that. But for the most part, if the story's not being told, the story's going to be lost. And Monica and I pride ourselves in telling facts. We don't tell rumors, sensationalism.
Unless we hear a rumor and we say, we're not sure, but
we're
this
not
is
sure.
what
Rumor has it.
This
Rumor
is the tea. Yet to be confirmed.
You didn't hear it from me.
Yeah.
But, I think that when people take tours, they want to hear the truth.
Yeah,
they want to hear
of course, yes.
facts. Anyone can make up anything. And then you go back to that. If somebody was going to start their own, it's not easy. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to be a grinder. I tell people, they say, well, what days do you work? I say, I work 8 days a week, 25 hours a day when I have to, or when I need to, or when people want to do a tour and we can't, it kind of hurts our hearts. It's like, how can we figure out, we have this time available and this time available? Because I truthfully believe that they wouldn't have sought us out. Yeah. They wouldn't have found us, through whatever, they found us. They really, if we have to turn somebody down, they're like, oh, can you tell us of somebody else that does something like you do? There's not. Yeah. I mean, there's other people that offer tours, but I don't think they will get the same elevated experience as they do because we were passionate about it.
So people should book.
They should
now.
book now, especially for the Holiday Lights Tour. We sold out last year.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, Captain Kirk, Monica, JoyridesAZ, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Jamie.
Such a joy.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to Jamie's Local Love, the podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Soretta. Our technician is Tom Heidinger. Our editors are Lorraine Shearing and Gina Coy. Do you know a business worthy of some local love? Email me at jsoretta@azfamily.com. Follow us at facebook.com/Soretta and Instagram @SorettaNews. Make sure to subscribe and give us a 5-star review, please. And tell your friends about the podcast and the businesses we feature to show your local love. You can find us on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and anywhere you get your podcasts.
Jamie's Local Love, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.